forward to the computer. So this is going to be launching in 2023. How I have gleaned is the most productive way to do it from Jake's Inner Circle trainings and from the convention trainings. It has been a little bit of an adaptation, and if this is different than how you were launched, or it is different than how you want to launch, absolutely, totally okay. This is just what is working for people like me who I didn't just come here. I've been here for 4 years in March. So when I do have someone that's my personally sponsored, I have the time to take them by the hand. If somebody joins your organization, or if you are brand new here from another project, for example, and you've got people signing up like crazy, you might have to have a layer of, hey, watch this training, fill out this part of the launch document, and then I'll get you scheduled in my queue of, you know, events to get people launched. Because then you know who's actually serious, who's rising to the top, who needs to be top priority. But for someone like me who's been here a while, you know, this is what's working for me. So Mel has been so gracious to be my victim, my volunteer. And so what she says or what I say it might not actually be her story. It might not actually be her situation, because launches should be done individually when you're setting goals specifically, because you do want to understand people's motivations, and we want to understand pain points, not for the point of preying upon them, but so we know how to best show up and help them move through that to the other side of it, right? So with that, I just wanted to put a disclaimer on here that this may not be Mel's actual experience.
No, it will be.
Okay, and it will be, because it is, you know, I love vulnerable people. I love people who are direct like I am, because then we can make some progress. But if anyone feels like they need to talk one-on-one about their specific goals and you are in my bronze chat, I'm here for that. And we can schedule, you know, 10, 15-minute Zooms to do that. But otherwise, this is just what everyone sort of needs today to get back into action after convention. So I'm going to share my screen. Why can't I see you guys then? I need faces. Hold on. What do you see, Mel, on the screen?
The new launch document.
Okay. All right. I don't know why I can't see you guys. I don't know. Okay, so this, maybe if I do, no, I still can't see you. That's so strange. Oh, there you are. I found you. Oh, you went away again. Okay, sorry. I know you're just watching me like do stuff that you can't see me do, but I swear I'm like doing something over here. Click back here. Okay, so this is, you guys saw in the chat how I sort of changed, and I did consult with some of the sideline people I work with. I changed the order of the onboarding to make the first couple of steps super, super easy. So we're going to just pick up from there and pretend like Mel just hopped on for her launch. So, okay, Mel, so awesome to see you. Thanks for hopping on. I know it probably was a little bit of a wait since you signed up. You're probably ready to talk to people, but I appreciate you being patient and waiting to make sure you had the best information before we start reaching out. But don't worry, we're going to do that here in just a second. So first things first, were you able to download the app okay to your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that app, as you have questions for me, because you will, I'll be like, that's in the app, look under business resources, you'll find it here. If you're the type of person that likes to peruse things and get the lay of the land first, have at it. But otherwise, that's what it's there for. So when I tell you that's in the app, you know exactly what I'm talking about is the app. Okay, and did you see that you're in those other 4 groups on Facebook? Okay, perfect. And then the next was to get on this Zoom so that I can go over things with you face to face and sort of hear a little bit more in depth than what we've already talked about your partnership with Q and how this will serve you. The first thing I wanted to ask you is, I know you just joined yesterday and you had an order placed when you enrolled. Did you also notice how it asked you to set up your subscription?
Yeah.
Okay, So your subscription can actually be something different. So if you want to put a subscription of something else you wanted to try, or if you wanted to order some things that are sampleable. So you got that pen and paper, I'm going to tell you the best things to purchase that are sampleable. So
Okay.
it's going to be, and you're in Canada, so it's going to be the greens,
Okay,
the armor, and the sport. Those
Okay.
are the top 3 things that are demonstrable and people want to taste before they invest in them. So that's always an idea for a subscription too. And a subscription is basically the lowest threshold you need to be running this business. That is your overhead for every single month. And by the time March 1st rolls around, we try to have them set at 100 in volume. And I can show you, I can look in your back office, I can show you the point value that's attached to every single product. All that just has to equal 100. You'll actually see it under the price. So that automatically qualifies you when the first customer order comes in, when your first business partner joins you, to go ahead and it signals that you're getting a commission check the following Friday. So that's why it's super, super important to have on to get paid as soon as possible.
Okay.
You know, we are a product of systems, and what we have found in our system is that as you are hitting these paychecks early, you tend to hit more by the end of the month versus waiting to start hit them towards the mid-month. So on this little checklist I have that you placed your order, so you're qualified, you have your subscription set up, and it can be different, but at least 100 still. And then we want to have that run the 1st through the 5th.
Right.
If the first Friday happens to be the 3rd, then you might want to consider moving it up to the 3rd. So, but generally you're safe most months as long as it runs by the 5th. Okay. 2 other things. I want to actually get our first action step done, and you are going to email the FFM
Okay.
right away. So I can't remember did I send you information about the FFM when you were looking at if you wanted to partner with you? Are you familiar with the Financial Freedom Movement?
Well, you spoke about it, but you didn't send me anything, no.
Okay, so the Financial Freedom Movement is really, really exciting because the bonuses and the coaching. The bonuses are attached, and Canada is, and actually you can probably tell me more about the Canadian market at this point, but the bonuses are attached to paychecks. They're in addition to regular pay, but the coaching has been in a group format for Canada so far. In like a page, but now the individual coaching is going to start. So if you're in the US, I would have you email FFM at Q Sciences right away, but go ahead and write down FFM at Q Sciences, because there's actually a training tonight. And I understand if you only carved out this time to work your Q business today, I'll plug into the training, I'll let you know and send you the recording about if they're going ahead to move forward, where you can actually now one of the first people in Canada Q ever to have your financial freedom coach.
Okay. When's the call?
That is tonight at 8:30 Central, so 7:30 your time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it said. Okay. The other thing I want you to consider is in your first full 30 days, and that's an important number we'll talk about another time on this call, but the tickets to go to convention are half off for the US convention. There are details coming for the convention in Canada, so we'll make sure that you as a pioneer in Canada are able to get there. I'm not sure where it's going to be. I'm not sure if they're going to pick the middle so that both sides can sort of come, but there's going to be people that do have to try. I mean, I live in South Carolina and the US ones are usually out west. And it is, don't get me wrong, every single convention, I'm always like, are they coming back east? But you know, you do what you can and maybe they'll move it around and it'll be in different provinces. But let's keep our eyes peeled for more information on the Canadian convention. But for the US convention, which who knows, maybe you'll even be closer to Utah than if they have it way out east, right? For the one at the end of August. The convention ticket is half price, so $100 US in your first full 30 days. So,
Okay.
and I do want to tell people, if you've been in the industry before, were you in a company before Q?
I was, but nothing serious.
Okay, so sort of like a hobby. And I think a lot of times, treating this as a business, even if, and I don't say even if, because I did say even if, but I didn't mean to say even if, because several $100s a month is something that, if it's consistent and residual over time, it can make a huge impact, especially right now with the way things are going. But a lot of times people think a business means you're working 40 hours a week and making $5,000 a month. And that's not what I mean about a business. But that spills over into our conventions. Our conventions are, and I know you already know this, are very business oriented. You get trainings on how to take your business to the next level. It is not about the fanfare. It is not where all the money that we invest to go gets put into some, speaker that we could have just watched on YouTube. These are people in our company who actually are doing have done where we want to go and telling us how to do it. And there is recognition, but it isn't a big party. It is just like, I have a hairstylist and she uses Moroccan oil products on my hair, and she just flew herself up to New York City to go to their convention to learn the best technique to use that as a hairstylist. And so when I was a teacher, I would go and I had to pay for my professional development to continue with my skills as a teacher. So that's what convention is. A lot of people think of it as like an extra, when it actually is more like an essential piece here at Q. So if you do see this as long-term, which I know you do because you wouldn't have signed up otherwise, then that is something we want to mark our calendars. So that is August 30th for the US one. I believe the date's been set for Canada. Is that right, Colleen? Will you nod? Is that June 25th or something? June 20, something like that. Okay. So we'll pay attention to the location and pricing and all that when that comes out. Okay. So I know a little bit about why you came to Q, but I did want to revisit that. I also know that from the time that we started this industry, that it evolves over time as well. When I first started, I had a very emotional why. I wanted to be able to help people who were in a desperate situation mentally. At this point, my why has turned into people who want location freedom and being able to plan their day and design their life as it suits their family's needs. So I did want to hear a little bit about both parts of it, as far as like, is there a product component that you really, really love, and what is the financial piece for you, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I'll just stick to my true story here. So initially, Q was, I always joke that I manifested it. So I was looking for a supplement. I own a raw food cafe and juice bar, and I wanted to offer something more substantial, because I mean, green juices are great, but a bottle of green juice can only do so much for you. So I was looking for something more powerful, and then found Q. But now, like now that I know more within Q and in the business model and the way life is going, brick and mortar businesses are very, very hard, very stressful. You don't have a life when you have brick and mortar businesses, and I had two. And you have a lot of overhead, right? So, and I know more about e-commerce now and the freedom. And so my reason for wanting to be very serious with Q at this time is because, well, I've done the brick and mortar. We're done. I'm shutting those doors. Like, I haven't announced it publicly yet, but I'm just going to strictly go Q e-commerce, because I find that it's the best way for me to offer health to somebody beside a bottle of green juice, where the vegetables are not even the same as they were 50 years ago, right? So, and then the financial part, well, I mean, it's global, whereas in small Prince Edward Island in Canada, I mean, the whole island only has 152,000 people. So,
All right. I was taking some notes on that, and for everyone who's also being launched alongside Mel, I do want you to revisit what Q as a vehicle means for what you deserve and what you are worth as far as living the life that it's been put on your heart to live. And what I loved, Mel, about what you said is it's so service based and what you can offer others. Why did you get into health and wellness to begin with?
So back in 2012, when I was a police officer, I used to be a police officer, I retired. I had severe candida when I was in an isolated post up north in northern Canada. And I mean, I'd been sick for years and we didn't know what the problem was. And I basically lived on eggs. I was egg intolerant. So eventually my body just kind of shut down. And so I had to go on the Candida diet, which is pretty severe. So that's when I started juicing and smoothies and stuff like that. And that's when I got really serious. I'm like, oh my God, like food actually can heal my body. Like it can make me sick, but it can also heal my body. And then, yeah. And then after that, I had a journey with PTSD but I just, no medication. It was all food, all natural. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. What a story. I didn't realize all that. Jumping back to the financial piece, and obviously all those things you named, I love. It's super attractive to me for those same reasons. Are you trying to replace what you were making with your brick and mortar?
Well, with my brick and mortar, I wasn't really making anything really. I was breaking even. And because I was so passionate that really it didn't really matter to me, to be honest, because I just loved what I did, right? So my bread and butter is with my mindset coaching, right? And I'm lucky that, my husband has a really good job. So, and he supports me. I would love to replace my RCMP salary, which when I left was really big because I was international, right? So I was getting those extra pays. So.
Okay. What was that? Are you comfortable talking about money or no?
Yeah, it was 275,000. But I mean, that was not just a salary, it was like extra pay for extra things that I did.
Okay.
So,
Did your husband still work like full time even when you were making that? Yeah.
Yep.
Do you guys have goals of what or just visions, or I'm always hesitant.
Well,
We're about to go into the goal setting portion, but goals are an interesting thing. I feel they're a lot like habits where, they can be good. They're good and bad. And a lot of people get goal fatigue when we keep setting these goals and we might not reach them in the time expectations we have. So I sort of like the idea of checkpoints and bucket list items and things like that. Do you and your husband have like a bucket list stuff that you would want to do?
We're kind of testing the waters now. So I moved up here in Alberta to be with him because our whole relationship, we were long distance. So I'm working in his industry right now because they needed employees. And I thought, well, why not get a regular paycheck while I put my businesses on hold?
Okay.
And so he bought a lobster fishing gear last year. So that's his plan. So he wants to do the windmill thing for another maybe 2-3 years. So I'm planning to be with him while he does that, because I don't want to be apart from him anymore. But do I want to be in the windmill business for 2-3 years? No.
Right.
Like I'm doing this now just because, but I want to do Q full time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about how many hours per week right now do you have to dedicate to your Q business?
So now I'll have like probably 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
So this week is the first week where my hours are modified.
Right.
So I'll be playing around with that. Yeah.
Perfect timing then. I understand why you are launching at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. And during this sort of modified time where you are still needing to work with your husband and things like that, about how much per month would be helpful for you? Like, is there something else you could be using funds towards, or is there something you could replace, like hours wise, working with him? If you made like Could you back off working with him if you made a certain amount, or what is your goal monthly that will make a difference?
Well, that's my plan. So my plan is to become more efficient at the job that I'm doing right now, where I can
Right.
actually just like do what I need to do. It's just data entry, whatever.
Okay,
But I'm still in the learning mode. If I'm gonna do that for the next year, like I'd like to just work till 2 PM and then, and I get my job done and then not even work on the weekend, be that efficient. When I'm at work there, I'm at work. That's it. But when
Okay.
I'm away from work, I'm away from work. I'm
Okay.
doing Q in my
so to
personal life.
do that schedule that you want, how much monthly would you need to be making with Q?
I would want to make 4,000.
Okay. Okay, this is just, it helps because we understand the system and the skills that people need, and they are diverse. We need skills with listening, we need skills with communicating, we need skills with running reports, we need skills with our finances even. We need skills with building relationships, and we need skills about running our social media. We need skills with presenting to people in person. And so it helps me gauge, hearing your experiences, how many hours per week, and what you would ideally like to be making, to give you an accurate business plan of what you could expect. But of course, knowing that basically we reset every 90 days. And that's why I don't like to call them goals, because goals makes it seem like we can't be happy till we get there. And I find that people who have longevity in Q not only have that long-term vision of what Mr. Mark Wilson and Mr. Jake Spencer put out for us about where the company is going. And of course, everyone should be super excited about the whole vertical of the Home Haven line. And we're still developing products in all the other verticals as well. They're not stopping there. So it's really just like one train track turned into 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 before my eyes, and the vision isn't stopping. So vision's important, but also understanding that these are just sort of checkpoints every 90 days of where you could be if you are consistently learning and applying the skills over time that we know correlate to paycheck. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to send you, anybody that I'm launching, I'm not going to spend this time explaining the compensation plan, because understanding it actually doesn't make the money. Doing the skills and having the conversation makes the money. And as you acquire customers, as you have people who you invest in as business partners and bring through as your e-commerce franchises, as those numbers tally, then that's when every Friday I send you a picture of what's called your dashboard. And your dashboard, I can tell you exactly how much you're going to get paid the next Friday, exactly how many orders you need of different things from different people within your organization to maybe bump that up. And that's something about our compensation plan I never want people to forget, is that when we're in a time where we need to be planning our finances, knowing what we're going to get paid and how to bump to the next level is super important. So I'm not going to explain all the ranks and things like that, but I will tell you that the first way to make money is basically have some customers and some business partners come in. And if you have a product passion, but making $4,000 a month, you're going to also want to build a team and have business partners. Are you aware that that's probably the route we need to go for that amount of money?
That's what I want.
Okay. So we are going to look and utilize both sides of the compensation plan. You may have people who come in and want to be ambassadors, but only focus on customers. We can show them as well how to leverage this compensation plan. But for you, if you're looking at this quick launch here, it's enrolling 2 business partners will unlock the first pay. That is if they come in with 150 in volume. And all that means is that they pick a pack in the back office that has that point value to it, or people can mix and match. I get this question all the time, that do I have to pick one of the set free packs? And you don't, you can mix and match.
Okay.
So once you have, if you have two business partners and they don't come in with a total of 300 together, then that's okay. You know what we do? We just go find someone else who's looking for the things that Q has to offer. And they may not be the exact same things you love or you saw in Q, but that's what I love about Q. The products and the opportunity have just a diverse range of appeal to so many people for so many different reasons, especially with the Home Haven line now. So you can see to the right, we have 3 ranks. They go in order. And I said the first 30 days is going to be important to think about. So since you enrolled on February 6th, you have till the end of March. This is an important date to write down, March 31st, to hit those first 3 ranks to make the most amount of money. And so you can see that on the right-hand side, about 3 orders. That's either customers or business partners. That's a $50. And I guess now that I'm thinking about this, and now that they have the Canadian dollars in place, I need to make one of these with the Canadian dollars because I have so many Canadians in the organization. So I'll get on that. But it is $50 US, and this is new. Our bonus used to be 100 and now it's 175, 75 extra dollars for 3 customers. Or those 2 business partners I talked about that come in with 150 each. And if it's 170, 130, that's fine as well. And remember, when I'm talking about points, it's just products. They have a point value and that equals, that gets tallied up. Okay. The next rank is pro. That's about 6 orders. And since you are going the team route, it could be people that you have partnered with, then they go get business partners. This is all on you. This isn't you recruiting everybody. This isn't you getting all these customers. We build in our compensation plan deep, not very wide, forever and ever and ever and ever deep. So, some of these people that are coming in now that are on Marielle Filipponi's 600,000th level, they still count for her. And then executive is the 3rd rank that no matter what speed you're going, no matter how many hours you can work, 5 being the minimum per week, I can help you get to executive and get the full throttle bonuses. So that is, and the bonuses stack, by the way, those get added up. The paychecks are the paychecks. So if you end up hitting executive by the end of March, the $250 paycheck, that $600 bonus plus the $225 bonus plus the $175 bonus. So over $1,000. You're probably like, that sounds great. I want that. What do? We discussed, who do you think of off the top of your head that you most want to share this information with? I don't even care why, just like, who do you normally share new stuff in your life with? And let's write down their names. I want 5 names.
5 names. Joyce Ann.
There was someone else that you said that wants to get started.
Well, that's Joyce Ann. That's
okay.
Okay. That's the one that we have changed the sponsor.
Okay.
There's Valerie Lados.
It's 2.
Yeah. Cindy Robichaud.
Okay.
I have so many on my list.
Yeah, take your time. And everybody else, think of 5 people. Think of 5 people.
Allie Stewart.
Allie?
Yeah, Allie Stewart.
With an A?
Yeah, 2 L's. And somebody who reached out to me, actually, Deanne, but I forget what her last name is.
That's all right. She knows it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. I just like to get 5 names out of the way quick, without people thinking about it. So if 2 of those people end up coming on as business partners, those are your first 2 bubbles filled in. We'll see with the products that they truly need for their own health and also offer them suggestions of things they could sample out. We'll see what their product value is. We're not going to ask people to do, a certain amount. So we hit that 300 with just 2 people. We'll see what they need, get them signed up, and then we'll see how close we are to 300 after we have those people sign up. Before we move on with how we talk to them and reach out to them, I did want to point out on this document, which I will send you in the chat after this, is that $4,000 US a month is silver. Silver is a 25,000 in volume organization, and it is doable for someone working 5 to 8 hours a week within 9 months to a year. Is that a time frame that you would be willing to work in order, if it meant you were making $4,000 US a month?
I'd rather have it in a shorter amount of time, putting
Okay,
the work
so-
first.
If you do, then we need to find more hours somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know, like I said, that this is my first week. I'll play around with it.
yeah,
There should be more than 5 to 8 hours.
okay,
I said 8 to 10, but it's probably more up to 15, really, because
okay. And it will change when you're in a phase of just doing the first part of what's called the laundry cycle. And I'm not going to go over the whole laundry cycle on this call. After this call, there will be more steps. And those can be completed after we get into action here for this last 10 minutes. But in the laundry cycle, the first part is just constantly having conversations with people and expanding your network. And that is, 8 to 10 hours, actually, that's a lot of conversations to fill. But once you have someone to get launched, and then once we have to present for them and their people, and then launch their people and teach skills to these people along the way, that's going to eat up a lot of that 8 to 10 hours. So then you're going to have to find that extra 30 to 45 minutes to continue to invite people to take a look at your business and to expand your network. So I always tell people when they're at, a lot of times they say, well, what am I doing? Then I can tell you how much time. I'm like, well, it does vary, and it's step by step. It's, I'm going to be doing a lot of calls for you in the beginning until you are able to do calls for business partners. We never want to be the expert. I was going to say we always don't want to be the expert, but I'll just say we never want to be the expert. We don't want to be the person talking to our own network about these products and this opportunity. So what my job is, since you partnered here, is to make sure I'm talking to your network. So with that, I wanted to see, and if this doesn't work for you, because I know you work all day Mondays, hopefully it'll work for someone else on this call, but let's just pretend this works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, I'll get one for your specific people. But I like to end this launch with inviting people to a call. And it is very much, this is what Mel has access to at this point, product-wise and income opportunity-wise. And people decide whether they want more information or whether it's for them, or if it's just information for the future for them. So it's super easy breezy, and I want to invite to that today. I normally would want to do it this time next week. I like to get it done within a week. My schedule's booked until next week, but next Tuesday is Valentine's Day. I think my husband would kill me if I did that. So I'm actually going to be doing a Fab 5 call on Monday at 7 for anyone in this bronze group. I wanted to give people time to watch the recording as well. But on an actual launch, I'm going to be sitting there with you, Mel, and saying, all right, look at your calendar for this. Do you have this time? Do you have this time? Do you have this time? Okay. And then we actually pick a date. You can't do next Monday, can you, Mel?
Yeah, I can go into work earlier. Yeah.
I like it. All right. So Monday at 7 Eastern again, we have those 5 people that you wrote down with me. We are going to invite them to that. So we're going to do that together. so it's not as scary. But if you were, as you know, to open up a brick and mortar, you would want people to come check out what you have because you're paying rent on that space, and you got to get some people walking in your doors.
Mhm.
Can you guys see this verbiage from Marielle?
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
what do you still see? Oh,
You.
wait, share screen. Hold on. I swear I do this for a living.
Mhm.
Okay, let me get off script. Share screen. Oh, snap. All right, I got it. Now let me go to share screen. Okay, now you can see that, right?
No. Oh, yeah.
Oh, bless it. Can you now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is the nuts and bolts of how you're going to reach out to those 5 people. Joyce Ann, you said Valerie, Cindy, Allie, Deanne. These are people that whether or not we don't want pity product buyers. We don't want to partner with business people. We just want to tell people what you have going on. And from this initial message, you're going to get feedback. You're going to get answers back. And your job is to screenshot what they say back so I can tell you exactly what to respond with. So we had to set our Fab 5 date so that when they say, yes, I can take a look, we see if that date works for them. If that date doesn't work for them, we have an 8-minute recording that we send them, but we don't just want to send it. I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's get these, because your armpits might be sweating a little bit and we just need to get through that. So let's send these messages out on the phone. While we're on the Zoom, to Joyce Ann, Valerie, Cindy, Allie, and Deanne. And it sounds like, and if you're not all like hyped and excited, you might need to listen to a song or whatever, but you would say, hi, Joyce Ann. How are you? Listen, I have no idea if you're in a season right now where you would be remotely open to looking at something that I just started and I had to tell you about. You have always been someone I have admired as a friend or in business. I don't know. Have you ever worked with Joyce Ann before?
Joyce Ann was actually just real life. She was an ambassador under one of my ambassador who.
Gotcha. And she's re-enrolling. Okay. So
Yes,
that message is going to be a little bit different because she's
Yeah.
pretty much ready to roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to send her a message that says, hey, Joyce Ann, I just got relaunched with Caitlin. We're ready to get you launched. What's your schedule like for the rest of the week? You need to figure out when, because you have to be on, and then I'll see if I can get on. So that'll be the message for Joyce Ann, so we can get her launch scheduled. So we'll do that message.
We just have to wait until compliance replies back to the
Oh, okay.
sponsor.
Okay.
Which,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I made a note of that. So you'll tell me when that, and then we'll get the ball rolling.
That's probably going to be by the end of next week. I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. And Valerie, have you worked with her before? Is she in the industry? How do you know her? Tell me a little bit about her.
We were college roommate. She started Arbonne 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but I don't think she did anything with it because she doesn't post on Facebook anymore. Her and her mother both had breast cancer. So I think she'd be really interested.
Okay. Well, then this message is perfect. And you would say like, I don't know, my college roommates, I still call them roomies. So I would be like, hey, roomie, listen, I have no idea if you're in a season right now where you'd be remotely open to take a look at something. I know that you were with Arbonne and I don't want to come across as disrespectful. So please hear my heart in this, but you've always been someone that I've loved being around. And you got to think of reasons why you would want to work with her. So if I were to send you something that I believe you need to get your eyes and ears on, would you take a look? So what are 3 reasons that Valerie, you would want to work with her?
Just because she's a person of integrity. She's outgoing. She's a busy mom of 2 boys, and I know she's at the stage of her life where she wants something for her.
Okay.
She had a rough patch last year, and yeah. I think
Okay.
it'd be,
So that fourth paragraph, well, the second one doesn't really count, but so it's truly the third paragraph, but that's where you say that, like, you have always been someone that's a person of integrity. I enjoy being around you. I know you hit a rough patch. If I were to send you something that I believe you need to get your eyes and ears on, would this be a time where you could take a look?
mhm.
Okay. Do you feel like muting and sending that message?
Yeah,
Okay. Have at it. I'll be over here.
I'll try to figure out if I want to say this in French or in English.
Oh yeah, that's
I'll
always
have to practice my French messaging.
Yeah. All right. And if you're on this call watching alongside with Mel, I really, really encourage you to do the same. Hopefully you have 5 people written down and can just send someone a message and telling them why you'd want to work with them. And if they can get their eyes and ears on something. And if you are able to make the call on Monday, it's open to anybody in the bronze group. I'll be doing, a shortened version of a QIQ.
Salut mon coquelicot, j'espère que tu vas bien. Tu m'as repassé dans la tête. Je dis, je vais l'appeler, j'ai arrêté de travailler de bonne heure aujourd'hui. Allô mon beau chandeling en canne, j'espère que tu vas bien, j'espère que tu as passé un bon week-end. Tu m'as repassé dans la tête, fait que me voilà. Fait que je voulais juste savoir si tu es libre cette semaine. J'ai réarrangé ma schedule au travail, je travaille moins tard. Fait que je voulais juste savoir si tu as du temps cette semaine, si tu as le temps de connecter, au lieu de laisser passer un autre 2 ans, tu sais, genre. En tout cas, laisse-moi savoir, puis on se fait une date, puis je te dirais bien que je me pèterais un vin rouge, mais non, parce que je suis en prep pour une autre crise de compétition. Je ne sais pas pourquoi je fais ça, mais en tout cas. Fait que c'est ça, gros bec, puis j'espère que tu vas bien, j'espère que tu n'entends pas mon mari ronfler dans le background, parce que je suis cachée dans ma deuxième chambre à coucher, il est couché sur le couch, puis il trompe ça toujours. OK, salut, bye.
Or I'm listening to a message.
Hey, Cindy, I know we talked last night and I never touched on this, but I have no idea if you're in the season right now where you'd be remotely open to take a look at something. I did talk to you a little bit about it before, and I was supposed to send you a video, but I don't know. I had this feeling that the timing wasn't right, and I had this feeling that the video wasn't good enough for you. I only want the best for my girl. But excuse me, I have this thing in my throat, but like, please don't, like, well, we're real. We love each other, right? So I don't want to come across as disrespectful. So please hear my heart in this, okay? You've always been someone I've always admired you, like in business, because of what you do. Again, sorry for my throat. I mean, you're my friend, and I just love everything about you. If I were to send you a quick 8-minute video, would you want to get your eyes and ears on it? And do you think we could talk about it? Let me know.
Yay, total rock star. And
Oh,
honestly, having something in your throat is like the most real thing that could happen. People like that, like people want to know that they don't have to be, I still think you're perfect, but you don't have to
my
be all
voice
perfect,
my voice kept cracking on all my messages.
No,
I sent 3 messages.
That's awesome. Okay, well, so I'm going to send you a little synopsis of what we talked about, some checkpoints, and I'm also going to send you, I have these really cool graphics for people. I'll send you the one specific for you, and then as you get business partners, you're going to want to see if you bring someone on that wants to sprint, for example, that they want to hit silver in like 90 days. You can see what they all need to be what they need to be doing every single day. With the exception of weekends or Sundays, however you want to run your business. But when you are working it, there are specific priorities. And so I have these cool graphics that I'm going to send you so you can sort of stay on track. And then your job, step number 4, because I've sent you steps 1, 2, and 3, is to dig into your list. So that means finishing, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had 20 on that quick launch I had. So getting 20 down would be the next step, and then sending those messages out. Some people are small dose people, like, let me just get 5 done a day. Some people are like, let me sit down and do 20 plus 20 more. It really is a business of freedom in both how you run it, just within the system. And that is actually going to be after you finish sending at least 20 messages for our call on Monday. I'll send you the next step, which is actually a more in-depth launch, because at that point you will want to have a little bit more information as you're talking to people. You don't want too much information, because as people respond back to you, remember, I want you to tell me what they say, so then I can tell you how to get them connected over to me. People do not want to feel like they need to know everything that you know. So we have to show them that they don't have to. We have to show people when they first start that they don't have to be bogged down with all this information, because you know someone who already knows it. She's been. So with that, I want to stay pretty close to our time of 45 minutes for the quick launch. We have messages out. We have some checkpoints set up. We have a business plan set, and we'll just keep moving through the steps. And then as you have your schedule for Q, you can just communicate with me what you plan to do each day. And I stick pretty close to you and that for the first 60 to 90 days, especially as you bring on business partners, like I said. So do you have any quick questions before we hop off?
No, covered everything.
How do you feel?
Good, excited,
Okay.
inspired.
Yeah. All right. Well, 8:30 Central Time, I believe it is that FFM call, and then I will see you in our chat.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let me stop recording.